As you guys can see, I've got the stand there on my back tonight. We're switching it up, going in with the stand. I'm going into the spot where Chance was sitting a couple nights ago, and he saw all those does and all those spikes, like 2, 3, 4 spikes, and that one possible shooter buck. So that's where I'm headed tonight. We're just gonna make a slight adjustment to where Chance was set up. He was kind of set up to be able to overlook everything in an observation sit. I'm gonna move in a little bit closer, hopefully get to a spot where I can shoot one out on that little alfalfa field, or at least see where they're coming out and then make another move. But we're moving in a little bit closer tonight, setting up in a spot where maybe we can kill one of those bucks that Chance saw out there a couple nights ago. Well, as always, it's a cluster for us this year. Got in here to where Chance had seen all those deer yesterday. Tried to find a tree along this fence row that's going to be a little bit closer to where they all were. And there's no trees in here. There's one tree that I'm in right now that's about yay big, and I'm only about 2 foot up off the ground because it ain't very tall and it's about 40-mile-an-hour winds. That's why the GoPro's shaking, because it's in the tree here and the wind's really blowing. So definitely not ideal. I'm in like a little pin oak or something right here, so I got a lot of back cover, but there are a lot of deer out here when Chance was down this way just a little bit farther. So hopefully we can see something tonight. Hopefully we see some bucks, and I can get a shot at something if it's walking right here on the edge or if it's walking right out there in that field. So we might try a shot if something comes along, but definitely don't have the ideal setup here that we were hoping we would when we came in. But we'll get an idea where they're at and make a move from there if we have to. Just had a small fawn come running down the edge of this. I didn't see her till she was right here. She was probably right back here, about 15 yards. She cut through this little opening. There's a trail that runs back to some bedding and some food that's back over here. She got back behind here with a south wind, and I think she caught my wind a little bit. We're trying to get in here and observe this spot because Chance was able to come in here and scout and saw a lot of fresh buck sign all along this field. When I was coming in, I saw a fresh scrape right down here on the edge of this alfalfa field. So there's a lot of sign out here, and that's something that we've been preaching to ourselves that we need to find. We need to find fresh sign, and we've seen a lot of our deer activity around corn, and we just continue to not try to find places to hunt that, you know, have those things in common. We just needed to take the time to get down and find the fresh sign. A lot of our deer movement has correlated around fresh sign, which early in the year, losing their velvet, you know, when those rubs and those scrapes start hitting, that's those bucks, and they're going to be close to where that sign is. And then we've seen a lot of our activity around some standing corn where you got kind of a brushy edge, and that's kind of where we're set up right now. Got some corn back over there and a brushy edge, and that seems to be where they're bedding. So that's where we're at tonight. Nothing yet, but at least I did see a deer. Hopefully that means more coming out this way, and maybe we can see some more deer than just that fawn tonight. We've got 2 does out here in this field. The one fawn that came running past me here real close is out there with another doe. So 2 does out there in the field. And I apologize for the footage from the GoPro and even this camera. It is super windy, so things are a little rocky, but we'll try to keep it as steady as possible. But it might be a little rocky this evening with it being as windy as it is. But she keeps looking back in there and farther down the food plot, so there might be more deer out here down the edge of this food plot or a little bit farther back in some of that cover, but a couple of those out here right now. one of the main reasons that I was coming in here tonight to try to set up a little farther down this alfalfa. We should try to get an idea of where these deer were at. Because when Chance came in here and he scattered the edge of this alfalfa, and he scattered over by where he hung the night he saw all those deer out here. So he knew they weren't coming from that direction because one, he didn't bump them when he scattered, and then he didn't see them when he was hunting. So they had to be coming from down here. But the main goal for me tonight coming in here was trying to figure out where these deer were coming from. Half the group came from right down here along the edge of the corn like we thought they might be. And the other thing we thought they might be doing is she's coming straight across out of that CRP stuff, natural browse, Milo stuff that's across the way here on the other side of the alfalfa. And I just had two does step out from there. So those are the two places we thought they might be coming from, and that's the two places they are coming from. So we didn't really narrow it down, but our guesses were correct. Made it back to the truck here. I kind of wanted to wrap up what happened because a lot happened when it was starting to get dark and I didn't have enough time to do an interview and stuff like that. Plus with the tree blowing around like it wasn't going to be a very good interview from the tree. So I figured I'd do it when I got back here to the truck. But as it started getting dark, we just had a bunch of deer come out. And like I mentioned, we were trying to figure out where these deer were coming from, because Chance saw them all out in that field, but he didn't know where they were coming from. So that was my goal tonight, was to get in there and figure out where they're coming from. And I think we did that. They're coming out of that CRP. It seems like they're feeding in that, but I don't know if they're bedding in that. They might be bedding back behind that in the woods. So if they're bedding behind that in the woods, we can get on that transition line of where that milo stuff meets the hardwoods that sit right there, and then catch them that way. But if they're in the milo, there's going to be like really no way we can get them unless we get lucky enough to get them on the field edge. So that's the thing that we're going to try to figure out now. We're going to go back, look at maps. I'm going to talk to Chance, and we're going to try to figure out if there's a way we can't get closer. It's going to be hard to get on the backside of that milo because we don't know where they're at. We don't want to sneak in there in an evening really and then bump them out of the milo if they're in the milo. But if they're farther back in the woods, we might be able to get on that edge and get set up, but it's going to be real tricky. So it might be a morning thing where we come back in the morning and set up in those woods because we know they're coming back there. It's just going to be hard because we're going to have to sneak all the way around to get back in there. But we're going to have to look at the maps and figure it out. But now it's time to move closer. So we've done 2 observation sets. Chance set on the one side, overlooking some CRP. I set on the alfalfa to try to figure out where they're coming out from. And now it's time to move close and get on a trail where we can kill one of those bucks. I don't know if I'm going to shoot that buck, but I think Chance is. He has tomorrow and Tuesday off, so he has the next 2 days off, so he can move in there and try to kill that nice 4x4, that nice 8-pointer. So October lull, if you're seeing that, we had a September lull, but if you're getting into the October lull, look for that fresh sign, find that fresh sign, set up on that, do an observation set, and then work your way back in. But as always, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and like this video. Thanks for watching.